Yes, welcome to this digital event with BioPorto. My name is Henrik Ekman. I'm an equity analyst here at HC Andersen Capital. With me today, it's a great pleasure to welcome the new management team of BioPorto, CEO Anthony Paré and CFO Neil Goldman. I guess we're a lot of investors that has been looking forward to this opportunity to meet you guys and to learn a little bit about what your background is and why you think it's relevant for BioPorto and why you joined the company. So perhaps we can start with you, Tony. Could you please tell us a little bit about your background and why it's relevant for BioPorto as you see it?
Sure. So I come from directly from a company called T2 Biosystems, which was a company that marketed molecular diagnostics for detecting sepsis, specifically in the ICU of hospitals for critical care patients. Similar, customer base that BioPorto has or is marketing to in the future. 25 years of med device in diagnostic experience, more on the commercial side, business development side, but I have led wholly owned subsidiaries of large companies. Namely, I had 18 years at Haemonetics. And during that time, all the way through T2 Biosystems, have led the launch of new products into, both the device space and the diagnostic space that did not replace anything that was in place before. So brand new products, brand new clinical value proposition, which I think is very relevant here when we talk about the NGAL test from BioPorto.
Okay, sounds good. And Neil, could you tell us a little bit about your background and why you feel motivated about joining BioPorto?
Yeah, I'm happy to, Henrik. Thanks again for having us here today. So this is my fifth time in the CFO chair. Most recently, I was a CFO of Chembio Diagnostics, which is a US NASDAQ listed company in the point-of-care diagnostic testing for infectious disease. And during my years at Chembio, we both navigated numerous clinical trials and sought and received a PMA, 510Ks, emergency use authorizations, and CE marks and certifications similar to those around the world. Along the way, we also refocused the company on a US commercial team and expanded that organization. Before coming to Chembio, I was with two very successful private equity deals that grew businesses ranging from 30 and 40 million US to well over $100 million US in a short number of years. And during that time, in addition to being the CFO of those companies, for one of them, I was also the chief operating officer with responsibility for our global manufacturing and logistics. I started my career at Ernst & Young early on as an auditor, but spent most of my years there in consulting. And when I left the firm, I was running our strategy practice for high growth companies between Boston and Chicago. What attracted me to BioPorto is through all of these companies, I've always been passionate about our products and services. But after joining Chembio, and at the risk of sounding a little trite, I realized my true calling was opportunities to not just build shareholder value, but doing that while developing and delivering life-saving products, which of course is the business that BioPorto is in. So I'm very happy to be here.
Okay, thank you. And perhaps Tony, if you could also just elaborate a little bit about the sort of the general motivation of joining BioPorto at this point, since I guess BioPorto is not as far in development as some of the companies you have been with before. So what's your thoughts on that?
What I was very impressed with, as I went through the interview process, as I performed diligence on the market, was the high demand for the NGAL test. There are a number of clinicians that are, that have developed their own LDT based on BioPorto antibodies. And when I say LDT, lab developed tests, this is, the products that are not marketed across across the various hospitals, but for their own purposes. But there's an unmet need, and there was a high demand for the NGAL product. The issue was that, especially in the US, they didn't have access to it. Because it is not a cleared product today. And as somebody who has a lot of experience in, marketing and commercial operations, having a base of clinicians that truly want your product and they just need to get their hands on it, this was what I found very, very attractive about the opportunity.
Okay, thank you. So just before, because we will certainly get, I'm sure, a lot of more chances to get to know you better and to talk to you and hear about your thoughts about the company, its strategy, and so on. But just briefly, in terms of you both, which we cannot see here, but we could tell the audience that actually, Tony, you're sitting now in Boston, and Neil, you're sitting in the New York area. So, and BioPorto, of course, has Danish organization as well. So just briefly, as a last remark, Tony, what are your thoughts about this? Is this going to be a purely US-based company, or what should we expect?
No, I see BioPorto as a global company, right? We have an establishment in Denmark. Obviously, the company was founded there, and our focus for the NGAL test for these biomarkers is global in nature. That being said, the biggest market in the world right now is in the US, and so we need to establish a commercial presence here, need to establish a clinical education presence here in the US. So that'll be the focus for the company over the next year, while continuing to grow our outside US business. So I see us as, as Denmark being, the headquarters that we need for the rest of the world market, and then we'll establish a presence here in the US.
Okay, thank you. And perhaps, Neil, you could add to that. I know that you have experience in running these companies by digital in different locations. So any thoughts on this location question?
Yes, I think if anything, what we've all learned for unfortunate reasons, of course, over the last 2 years, is that people don't need to be in the same room to be successful together. And while certainly when safety and health rules permit it, Tony and I will be whenever we need to be, if that's in Boston or if that's in Hellerup or elsewhere, visiting customers, shareholders, suppliers, and the like. But I will tell you, I personally, many years before the pandemic, was leading a company where I was based in New York with a team, and we had a team in Detroit. Our CEO was there, I was here, and we ran the business on GoToMeeting and Skype, and it was pretty successful. I found we have an incredibly talented group of people in Hellerup, and I have no doubts that we'll be able to be successful together as we move forward in this way.
Okay. Well, thank you, and we will certainly follow this, and I'll be interested to see how you progress. So welcome to BioPorto, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you for now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.